Choosing yourself and giving yourself permission to start doing what you want to do now in adulthood could look challenging, especially if you were raised in a childhood of survival where mommy's and daddy's needs came first, right? And you were actually a narcissistic extension of themselves. No, you didn't learn the healthy dynamic of being approved of and validated and loved by them early on, and then having that healthy transition in the earlier years of life where then you learned to validate and approve of yourself and give yourself permission to do the things that you wanted to do. So it's not for no reason that it's actually challenging for you to, validate yourself, approve of yourself, give yourself permission to start and choose yourself now, especially if that's not what you learned to do in childhood. A lot of us actually learned ex- uh, extrinsic self worth, which is basically tying our self worth to things out there, which is exceedingly unstable and unsustainable over the long term. And it leads to an entire roller coaster of a fucked up experience of life over the course of years, right? So if you find it challenging to choose yourself, these days, right? As an adult, you find it challenging to give yourself permission to start doing something that you want to do or the things that you want to do, right? It's likely because you got very used to waiting for somebody to tell you that you can do it. You got very used to waiting to be chosen, which actually never ended up happening. Or if it did happen, it didn't last very long, and the way that it ended led you to believe that there was something wrong with you and that you weren't actually allowed to choose yourself. If nobody else wants you, why should you want yourself? So you don't even choose yourself. And not only that, but you also abandon the hell out of yourself. And because you never got permission to start things that you wanted to do, right? In fact, it's not just permission that you didn't get, right? It was actually people saying, "I don't know about that. I don't think you should do it. I don't think you're ready for it. I don't think you'd be good at it." No, no, no. You didn't get confidence instilled in you in regards to the things that you wanted to do. You got the exact opposite. You didn't get people telling you, "Yeah, I believe that you can do that, this, that, and the other." No, 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 no. You got people actually projecting their own insecurities onto you, right? And that led you to not be confident about your choices. So therefore, you've had a very hard time choosing yourself and the things that you actually want to do throughout your entire life. This is all rooted in a childhood where you learned that your worth is tied to the external rather than learning to validate and approve of yourself and learning intrinsic self-worth, right? And it's not healthy to live externally like that in adulthood because it slows you the hell down. It has you waiting for people to tell you that you can do things. It has you waiting for people to choose you so that you can feel like you can actually be validated and choose yourself, right? And the reality of that is that it's backwards in the sense that it has you waiting and it has you not choosing yourself and it has you abandoning yourself. It has you self sabotaging. And not just in terms of people, but in terms of everything, it's not an attractive energy. It's actually very repellent, right? It's an energetic signature that says, "Oh, I can't choose me." So that's going to tell other people that they shouldn't choose you either. And I mean, it's not other people's job to choose you. What I'm saying in terms of choosing you is more so that other people wouldn't recognize the value of being with you, of being in your presence. It is my job to choose me. It's not anybody else's job, right? Other people might see me as valuable of being in my presence or this, that, and the other, right? But it's not anybody else's job to choose me. It's my job to choose me. And if you feel like you can't choose yourself, that energy is felt by other people. It is. But this is all rooted in a childhood of extrinsic self worth. That's the deeper meaning to all of this. If you struggle to choose yourself, if you struggle to give yourself permission, It's likely because you didn't have that healthy experience, dynamic, and transition in early childhood. It's likely because your parents didn't validate and approve of you. Actually, not just that they didn't validate and approve of you, you got the opposite. You got invalidation, you got disapproval, you got all these different things, and they were all just projections from them. It had nothing to do with you. You were just too small to see it at the time. I mean, we all were. No one in childhood is going to get it. And that's the thing that sucks about unhealthy childhoods, is that they're unhealthy in the sense that we don't get to see things clearly for what they are. If we were adults in childhood and we could see, oh wow, that's just mommy and daddy projecting their shit onto us, then we would have been able to see it for what it was and we wouldn't have been traumatized by it. Now we can in adults, because we can become aware of these dynamics and everything, and understand that people don't do these things because they don't see themselves. They can't see us if they don't see themselves. People can only meet you as far as they've met themselves. That's the reality of it, right? So, what if you struggle to choose yourself and to give yourself permission? Because in childhood, you learned to be invalidated, which then led you to not be confident about yourself, which then led you to not choose yourself and give yourself permission. Again, no, you didn't have the healthy transition of being validated and approved of and being told that you were good enough and that you were worthy by your parents. No, you got the exact opposite, right? So instead of getting the validation, the approval, the worth from your parents, and then learning that healthy transition where you then validate, approve of, and choose yourself in the earlier years of life as a kid, right? Which then would have led to a healthy experience of life where you have intrinsic self-worth, you choose yourself, you give yourself permission to start, you don't need to wait for anybody else to tell you that you can do it. No, you just got invalidated. You got a lack of confidence because you were taught that you're not good enough and that, you know, I don't know, you shouldn't do it. You shouldn't do this, that, or the other, as mommy and daddy said, because they just don't think that you'd be good at it because they don't think that they'd be good at it, right? Whenever somebody instills a lack of confidence in an individual, it has nothing to do with the individual and everything to do with the person that is projecting that onto them. And that's what a lot of people got in childhood. That's what a lot of people got in the unhealthy childhood that they were raised in. They got the invalidation, they got the beliefs that they weren't good enough and that they weren't capable of doing it. But what they didn't realize was that it was just a projection from their parent, right? So, yes, it's challenging for you to choose yourself and to give yourself permission these days, because you probably have this thought process, this thought pattern that says, well, if they don't choose me, why the hell should I choose myself? I'm not worthy of choosing myself. Well, if they don't give me permission to start, then I shouldn't be able to start. Who the hell am I to start? Who the hell am I to do what I actually want to do? Right? I don't have the confidence to actually move forward. I need this wave of a crowd behind me that's cheering me on, that's telling me that I can do it. I don't believe that I can do it otherwise. That's fucked up. It's really fucked up. It stagnates. But the most important thing to understand here is that it's untrue, and that you don't have to wait to be chosen, to choose yourself. In fact, again, it's nobody's responsibility to choose you. It's nobody's responsibility to choose you. Um, it's your responsibility to choose yourself. But a lot of people that got the unhealthy childhood wouldn't see that, and they wouldn't. They'd also not feel comfortable. There are a ton of blockages for people that have been invalidated, for people that have been projected onto, for people that have been, so severely traumatized and told that they'd never be good enough. Yeah, there are serious blockages that come with that stuff. There are blockages that stop people from actually doing the things that they want to do, giving themselves permission to start and choosing themselves. There are serious blockages. That's just the reality of it, right? And it could very well be that the reason why you struggle so much to choose yourself in adulthood, which would actually completely transform your energy dynamic. Let me make this clear. When people choose themselves, their entire energy dynamic shifts. Unworth as an energy dynamic is felt, right? Unworthiness as an energy dynamic is very repellent. When people sense that you don't see the worth inside of yourself, it repels them away from you. So when you actually do start validating yourself and approving of yourself, giving yourself permission, doing what it is you actually want to do, that shifts the energy dynamic. And I mean, understanding that a majority of the ways that you have seen yourself and that you've felt about yourself actually have nothing to do with you and have come from other people's projections is a really good start. It really is. But the very reason that you struggle to choose yourself and to give yourself permission to start and to do anything, whatever it is that you want to do, goes back to you learning that you couldn't choose yourself because apparently there was something wrong with you. You were not worthy, again, because there was something wrong with you. And that you can't give yourself permission. Who the hell are you to give yourself permission to start? No, 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 no. You need to wait for people outside of you to tell you that you're good enough and you can start. So now you're locked inside of this box where you have to live by these rules and you've got to wait for external validation and approval to do things and to feel a certain way, a good way about yourself. How fucked up is that?